Part of getting back into routine is back to school and back to school sports. So if your kids have taken the summer off, you might be worried about them diving back in too hard, too fast, and getting hurt. Joining us now is Dr. Jordan Metzl. He is a sports medicine physician at the Hospital for Special Surgery, and he is going to talk to us about what you can do to help your athlete avoid injuries and what to do if, goodness forbid, an injury occurs. Welcome, Dr. Metzl.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. So let's dig right in. I mean, getting back into after-school sports, there are some kids who stay active over the summer, other kids not so much. So as parents, what can we do if we don't want our kids to get injured or go too hard, too fast?
Yeah, definitely. So violating the rule of twos, too much, too quickly. And back to school is a time, it's really our busiest time of the year in sports medicine by far. Oftentimes people are less active in the summer with organized things. They may go to camp, they're less formally active in sport, and then they jump right back into school sports. And that disconnect between the body I kind of had over the summer and then jumping back into real sports can be a real shock to the system. And so we really look to kids to work on, doing a lot of preventive strengthening so they can stay healthy during the sport. And right now, particularly as school sports are kicking back up, and the real thing, we've been kind of on a lesson schedule for the last couple of years. So now we're back into like real official, the whole thing, fans, parents, kids, all sports going, which is wonderful for kids. But the downside of that is their bodies may not be totally up to it. So you got to make sure they're building back in slowly and building up enough strength. Hopefully over the summer they were doing some strength training and conditioning too.
It's so important. I think we just assume, oh, kids are kids. Let them just run around, let them go out there. And then when we talk about stretching, we think about adults. But clearly kids, it's important for them too. I keep reading about creating a healthy sports environment for kids. What does that even mean? I have 2-3 athletes, and I don't know what that means.
Well, here's what I got to tell you on that. So basically, sports should be, for kids, the best time of the day. Like, they should be looking forward to doing their sport. Unfortunately, we've seen a whole trend towards specialization. Oh, you're a pretty good soccer player. You should play soccer year-round. You're a pretty good baseball player. You should play baseball year-round. And younger, kids are getting shunted toward these specialized sports. And oftentimes that gets quite serious, and sometimes it's very healthy, sometimes it's not healthy. So when I talk about a healthy sports experience, I mean, is your kid smiling, looking forward to going? They may not make it to Major League Baseball or the NBA or NFL. Most kids don't even make it to college for sport. But we want to make sure we're giving them tools to have a healthy kind of experience, and we want them to be like you. You look forward to exercising all the time because you have a really positive experience about that. So we want to make sure they're smiling. And, there's a lot of factors that go into that. My kids play soccer, and there are people who clearly, even my husband, I have to watch because he played soccer. So he assumes the boys are going to play soccer, right? And so I think parents have to be careful to make sure maybe their child actually really wants to play that sport. How do you know if a sport is right for a child? Well, it's interesting. I have this discussion with parents all the time in my office. And, first of all, there's no such thing as a right sport. If your kid likes it, they're smiling, they're having fun, let them do it. But definitely there are some sports where, as they get more serious about it, they may get injured more often if they don't have the right body for the right sport. And sports like, you may think like ballet, for example. If you have a really nice turnout in your hips, you're made to be able to dance ballet maybe. But if you're trying to force that turnout from the floor because you don't turn out very well, you can make it as a small kid, but as you get further up in ballet, you start to get knee problems and hip problems. So the thing I tell parents is if your kid is injured more than kind of 10-15% of the season, if they have a lot of aches and pains, way more than other kids, it may be time to talk about, am I in the right sport? And most importantly, are they having fun?
That's really interesting. I've never even thought about that. And what about, like, if your kids are still growing? Are there some injuries or ways injuries in adults differ from injuries in kids?
That's a great question. So basically, kids' bodies they're not just like small adults. Their bodies are growing, and in their bones, they have these cartilage growth plates. Now, these are plates of cartilage in the bone. And as they start to grow, these cartilage plates turn into bone, and kind of like a brick. They lay down layers of brick on top of each other, and that's how the bone gets longer. So if you roll your ankle and you're 16, you've sprained your ankle. But if you roll your ankle and you're 9 or 10, you've fractured your growth plate, and it looks exactly the same, but we treat them very differently. The growth plate fracture is more serious. Sometimes it needs a cast or a boot, and we keep them out of activity. So the key thing for parents is recognizing that if something, keeps hurting, you want to definitely get it checked out.
I was just going to ask you how you can tell if an injury requires medical attention or if you can just watch your kid and, take care of it at home.
It's interesting. There's kind of two categories of injury. the acute traumatic injury, like it happens right away. I twisted my ankle, I'm limping off the field. You don't wonder if you have that one. For those, if it's crooked, if it's swollen, come bring it in right away. If it keeps bugging him, you want to get it checked out. But the other ones, the repetitive use injuries, I'm playing baseball and my elbow hurts because from throwing, or I'm a gymnast and my back hurts. For those, if pain is changing how you do your sport, meaning I can't throw the ball right, I can't do back handsprings because my back hurts, you want to get that checked out as well.
All right, last but not least, this is an interesting question. I feel like somebody's been spying on me. Let's say you're a parent and you're watching the game on the sidelines and your child gets hurt. So I learned the hard way that you're not supposed to run out on the field. But it was like, it was my child. And he was like, Mom, you know, and he pushed me back. But is there a line? I mean, and he was fine. So that's when I learned, okay, let me let the coach handle it.
So basically, there are built-in kind of ways that we take care of these injuries. Usually kids are pretty darn resilient and they get up and move around. If there is a designated medical person on the field, let them go do their job. You don't want to be the overbearing person looking over their shoulder and running out there. But, obviously your parental instincts kick in as well.
All right, Dr. Metzl, you're so solid. And he's doing this, and he still has patience. So he's got to run back and take care of the patients. You're just doing that. You're such a giver. Thank you so much.
Great to see you.
So cheers to all of you for a fun, safe, and healthy sports season ahead.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.